Hi everyone, welcome back to the table. I'm Kim Ganassin and we are going to have a look at the fact that you and your computer both have stuff running in the background. And what does that mean? What am I talking about? Okay, so in order to function at the table, right, you have to become the person that can be conscious at the level that the table requires. The table exists on a certain plane and you can enter that plane, but you just have to be willing to actually do it. That's all, okay? So, if you'll remember in episode 2, What is the Table? We talked about the fact that when you are at the table, the atmosphere around you, the atmosphere everywhere around the table is both receptive and dynamic, okay? And when you speak something, when you say something, when you present something and put it outwards, it becomes something that is more or less independent of you and has the potential to evolve. It's basically a giant workspace, and you speak and what you say enters into this space. Well, that space that we're talking about, that's the vibrational fabric. That's the universe itself, okay? So when you are at the table, in order to benefit from it fully, and in order for your participation, what you leave on the table, what you bring to the table, to benefit humankind, make the world a better place, you have to learn how to see yourself as integrated onto the vibrational fabric, okay? So let's just take a quick look at it. Here's Kim. Here's me as a singular thing, right? I have this body, I have this mind, I talk like this, I look like this, walk and talk and dance and do my thing. And this is Kim, okay? But the truth of the matter is I am a thread on the vibrational fabric, okay? And this body and this mind that you're looking at, that you're hearing, is one spot on the thread of Kim, woven into this gigantic vibrational fabric. I mean this literally, okay? This is literally true on the vibrational level, okay? So you can see yourself as, you know, Joe the construction worker, or, you know, Katie the nurse, or, you know, whoever you are. You can see yourself as one thing, or you can see yourself as one gigantic thing on the vibrational fabric woven into every single other thing that exists everywhere. Now that's kind of mind-blowing. I don't mean for it to be that crazy of a thought. So just think in terms of singular me, us connected. Am I me or am I us? I can be me on the stage, or I can be us backstage. Me on stage is running me. I'm being me, I'm doing my thing. Us backstage runs everything, okay? And we play along together in very complex ways. More about that at another time. Okay, so I want to help you discover how you function as one identity on a gigantic vibrational fabric, how the vibrational fabric actually lives within you, is dynamic within you, it's part of your life already, it's part of the identity that you think is just you. There is no just you, except in your mind, okay? And maybe to your grandma, maybe to your dog or something like that, okay? But it's important that we learn to see ourselves as the totality so that we can go to the table and benefit from it, okay? So I'd like to tell you a story about how one day the fabric, which is the background I was talking about, had information on it. I was actually holding that information on my own thread on the fabric, but had never really come to bring this bit of information forward, okay? This assumption that I had, and this idea that I had about how things worked. One day I was in an incredible amount of stress, and I had to pull a card out of my back pocket that I didn't know I had. Okay, and I learned that my background, the vibrational fabric behind Kim, had something on it that I needed that day and that I could use. So here's the story. About 10 years ago, I was in kidney failure, and we didn't know it, but I was in heart failure at the same time. I was also a type 1 diabetic, and I was a very sick person in a tremendous amount of stress. I was needing a kidney transplant. My neighbor was going through the process of getting typed to find out if he could be my kidney donor, if he would be a match. So I'm driving down the street knowing that I'm hanging by a thread, feeling absolutely terrible, and I get to the red light, and me being who I am, I get to the red light and I immediately go from being Kim, which is a miserable state of being at that time, and I pulled out of my singular self and I became the fabric in an instant as I was sitting at the red light. And I was just like, oh God, am I alive or am I dead? I can't really stand this. And as I'm on the fabric, zoning out, I hear a voice that says, this path that you're on, it leads to the grave. And I said, yeah, I know. And it said, get some intervention. You have very little time left. And I was like, cut. Hold on a second. I'm nothing but seeking intervention right now. I'm only alive because of intervention that I seek out and I implement every day. I'm, looking for kidney donors, and I'm getting this and that treatment and everything. I am solid intervention right now. So I don't know what you're talking about. Go get some intervention. Where have you been? Right? And I pulled something off of the vibrational fabric, something that had been in my background and I hadn't vocalized it yet, but somehow I knew it was back there. And in my moment of being really, really mad that I had to hear, go get some intervention, I pull this out. I spoke to myself farther up the thread on the fabric, my thread up the fabric, and I said, and you listen here. You get down here and you try to survive in a dying body. You see what it feels like to be face down in a ditch, and you see if you like the taste of dirt. And by the way, you're sitting wherever you are, all comfy on the fabric. You need to download more of yourself, your energy, your consciousness into me, because I'm not having a good time here and I don't know if I'm going to live or die. So get down here. I get like that. Anyway, so I didn't really understand until I said it that I knew that there was a part of me that was richer and larger and stronger and more conscious somewhere up the road, somewhere up the thread, up the fabric. I had never vocalized that, but it rang so true in my bones in that moment when I started talking to myself saying, download or die. It changed me. And it made me realize that maybe there's other things in there that I need to pull out and just get these things out on my own table and say, this is the truth that I don't speak about. Very, very powerful stuff. Very important stuff to do, to learn, to practice. So I challenge you to think if there's been a time in your life where you hit a wall and you had to pull an ace out of your pocket that you didn't know you had and act upon it. Or maybe there's something kind of rolling in the background for you, something that you know is in the back of your mind that you haven't pinpointed yet, you haven't drawn it out, you haven't spoken it, you haven't defined it. But think about it, give it some thought, because that's you, your background, which is the fabric, and you own it. So let's explore it, okay? Leave your comments. We're here to get the work done together, and I want to thank you for being here. I'll see you next time. Thanks so much.